Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're diving into something that's, well, a pretty huge deal in how we interact with technology. We're talking about a move away from giving our computers super specific, step-by-step commands and into a world where we can just describe the vibe we're after. Shifting from rigid instructions to just communicating our intent.
To really wrap our heads around this whole thing, let's use one big example for our whole explainer today. Imagine this. What if you could make an entire YouTube video from start to finish just by describing what you want? No juggling a dozen different apps, just telling an AI the style, the tone, the whole feel of it. Let's see how this new vibe paradigm actually makes that a reality.
All right, so first things first. What do we even mean by the vibe? Well, think about making our YouTube video. The old way would be clicking buttons, right? Increase saturation by 5%, add a crossfade here, apply this specific filter. The new way? You just say, make this scene feel more epic and inspiring. You describe the goal, the intent, and the AI handles all those little steps for you.
And what makes this all possible is this concept of long-form coherence. That's the key phrase right there. It means the AI isn't just listening to one command at a time like a robot. It understands the entire project, the whole picture. For our YouTube video, it gets the vibe of the entire thing, from the hook in the intro to the final call to action, and makes sure it all feels connected and consistent.
Okay, so every great video needs a great voiceover, right? That's our first step. But we're not going to use one of those old, choppy, robotic text-to-speech voices. No way. We're going to use a tool called VibeVoice, which is built from the ground up to create long, natural, and really emotionally consistent audio, perfect for our narration.
And this is the magic behind it. You can think of VibeVoice as having two separate ears. The acoustic ear, it listens for the sound of a voice, the emotion, the tone, the rhythm. Then the semantic ear listens for the meaning of the words, making sure it all makes logical sense. And then you've got this big LLM brain that brings it all together. The result? Our video's narration sounds like a real person, not a machine. So how does it handle a script that's, say, 90 minutes long without just giving up? The answer is just insane efficiency. Look at that number, 3200x. That's the compression ratio. That analogy is perfect. It shrinks a massive audio file down to something manageable without losing clarity. This is what unlocks long-form audio. Without this, the AI would get totally lost, and the voice for our video would start sounding weird halfway through. This makes it all possible.
So, let's just put it all together. What does this really mean for our video project? Well, with the old TTS, a long script would sound robotic, maybe the speaker's voice would even change tone completely, but with VibeVoice, we get one consistent, natural-sounding narrator for the whole video. It can even handle a conversation with up to 4 different people and keep them all straight.
All right, voiceover is done. Nailed it. Now for the visuals. What if our video needs, I don't know, a custom animated graphic? Or maybe a sidebar that pulls in live data? A few years ago, that meant you had to go hire a developer. Now, we can just do it ourselves without touching a single line of code.
And here's the new workflow. It's so simple. First, you just describe what you want, in plain English. Then, the AI acts as your personal programmer and just writes the code for you. And then you can test it instantly, right there on your own machine using its NPU. The creator, you, become the architect. You're focused on the what, not the nitty-gritty details of the how.
And this is a perfect example of what that prompt looks like. Notice, you're not telling it what programming language to use or how to structure the database calls or any of that. You're just stating the goal. You're giving it the vibe. I want a sidebar and I want it to show my calendar. Simple.
Now, what's really revolutionary is where all this work is happening. It's all running on your computer's local neural processing unit, the NPU. Think of it like a special little brain inside your computer just for AI stuff. That means it's super fast, it's totally private, and it costs you nothing. You could literally be on an airplane, no Wi-Fi, and still be building custom AI tools for your video. It's incredible.
Okay, so we've got a voice and we've built a custom graphic. Let's zoom out now and see how all these different pieces actually fit together into a complete system, an ecosystem that can handle every single part of making our YouTube video. So as you can see, this isn't just a random collection of apps. It's a fully integrated system where the AI understands how everything works together. We've talked about the voice and the coding, but look at VibeVoice-ASR. That ASR stands for automatic speech recognition, and that's the piece that's going to create the captions for our video. It all works in harmony, all powered by that local NPU. And to get those perfect YouTube captions, we'd use this.
This isn't your basic speech-to-text. It's something called Rich Transcription. It can take an hour-long interview for our video, tell us exactly what was said, who said it, and precisely when they said it, all in one go. Game changer.
This chart really breaks down the economics of why this is so smart. About 80% of the AI stuff we need to do, like generating our voiceover or getting captions, can run on our own device, basically for free. This saves the expense of cloud services for only the truly massive, heavy-duty jobs. For creators like us, that means the cost of making really high-quality content just dropped a lot.
So yeah, making a YouTube video is a great way to see it in action. But this whole shift from command to vibe, it has way bigger implications, right? What does this mean for how all of us work, how we create, and even just how we access technology day to day?
And I just love this backstory. The whole VibeVoice project didn't start in some big corporate lab. It was created by a developer who physically couldn't use a keyboard because of a repetitive stress injury. It was born out of a real, human need for a better way to interact with a computer. That makes it an incredible accessibility tool at its very core.
And you can see that human-first thinking everywhere. The goal here isn't just to make AI that works, but to make AI that's genuinely delightful to use. Think about a screen reader that doesn't just read words but actually conveys emotion. That's the difference. And of course, a huge part of that is pairing all this cool new tech with really strict guidelines to make sure it's used responsibly.
And that brings us to the big question to leave you with. As AI gets better at moving past our specific commands and starts to truly understand our intent, our vibe, our whole relationship with it changes, doesn't it? It stops feeling like just a passive tool that we operate and starts to feel more like an active partner, a collaborator. So, is it a tool or is it our new teammate? It's a pretty fascinating thought to end on.